Ladies and gentlemen, big terror news.
Hey, kia ora koutou te whānau, and welcome to Bright Hairy News, or Big Hairy News. As you can see, I don't know what's happened with my camera, but it decided to die on me, so I've just been panicking in the background trying to get that sorted. And you can also see, Emz has left me alone for, I believe, approximately 20 minutes, she said, because her and Mr. Emz have gone to a school ball. So that's fun for Emz, and hopefully she'll be here with us relatively soon. So yeah, it is, oh man, you know what, I'm just going to take a second. The panic that I was feeling, I'm probably going to have to restart my computer, hopefully when Emz gets back, because yeah, this is awkward and not going to fly for long. But I hope everyone is having a good day today. It's been a big week, as always. ASMR, I'm not so sure. But I've got quite a few things to kind of show you guys while we wait for Emz to come and hang out with us. I've found a few videos that I thought we could just have a bit of a look at. And yeah, we'll go through some of those and see how far we get through. And also the Southern Moonlight, they are slightly older, but Mr. Emz is a school teacher, so I'm assuming it has something to do with that. Anything beyond that, I have no idea. I mean, we had a ball for my uni, so you know, you can have a ball at pretty much any age. Yes, we will have memes. I haven't uploaded them yet because I was panicking about my camera. So what we will do in the meantime is I will start off by doing the usual kind of plug at the beginning, where we'll go and say thank you to the patrons. Obviously, the patrons are what helps keep the lights on and everything kind of going so that we can have the show. So massive mihi to you guys for tautokinga, for the tautoko. And if you want to become a member, you can start from as little as $5 a month and go all the way up to $250 a month, which is insane. But obviously, we'd really appreciate if when you put become a patron, just do something that you can actually manage and don't just try to go too handy. We appreciate it though. Same with all the super chats and all of that. We also have our website, bhn.nz, which is a great little hub now that we have. So you can find all of our podcasts, BHN locked out the front line, and also see who the friends of BHN are. I know we've got more and more to add to these. You'll also be able to go and buy some merch. This awesome You Can't Bomb the Truth Away shirt that's been going pretty hard at the moment. And yes, if you want to join us on Discord, the top right hand corner, great little spot to find that link there. And I believe that's it for all the plugs. So I shall go into, how about we go into one of my first little videos that I have, because we'll probably need some memes after it, so we'll kind of start that way today, I think. So this was actually just a really interesting video that came across my timeline to do with kind of, it starts with obviously misogyny, but then it also kind of goes a bit deeper and further and kind of discusses how, men are socialized, misogyny, how it plays into a lot of the things that we're seeing at the moment in terms of right wing and fascism and all that kind of stuff. So I will just go over and get this video up for us so that you guys have something to look at. And I'll just make sure that the sound's actually on, because I hate when it always starts muted. But yeah, this is from Novara Media.
No, I was
I just
socialized
realised I
through
had not
misogyny,
shared.
like
That
most
was
boys,
a bit of a fail. Let's do that again.
Me, from the male chauvinist pig within me.
I don't believe that, Yanis.
Well,
I think you were born a enlightened, highly
No, I
intelligent
was
man.
not. No, I was socialized through misogyny, like most boys. I still remember, as an 8-year-old, 9-year-old, that our socialization process as boys revolved around hating girls and treating them like shit.
Do you think that's got better?
No, I don't. I think it's getting worse.
Did it get better?
It did get better, and now it's getting worse. Look at adolescence, right? I know that this has become a kind of stereotype, but I think it's quite telling. I see this from our kids. It is definitely getting worse.
Why?
Well, because we have the drift to the ultra-right. Allow me a bit of economic determinism and a bit,
please,
revealing my Marxism, my unreconstructed Marxism. I think that 2008 was our generation's 1929. And ever since we had our generation in 1929, the left failed to put forward a liberating, emancipatory narrative. Even when we did get into government, like I did, we failed. It doesn't matter why. We fought with one another. There was betrayal, there was treachery, there was stupidity and mistakes and so on. And just like in the mid-war period in the 1920s and 1930s, after the left fails, discontent grows. And then the idea of the masculine, patriarchal rebirth of the nation, which goes hand in hand with the patriarchal family around the patriarch, the paterfamilias. This whole thing becomes a political agenda that is functional to the interests of the cartel running big business. Don't forget that big capital always in the end gets into bed with the fascists, and this patriarchal narrative becomes even more reinforced. So, if you're looking at it from this macroscopic and macro sociological point of view, then you realize why it all clicks. I owe it to these 5 women.
But yeah, obviously when that came across my feed, it was awesome obviously to see how he kind of went into it, talking about how this wasn't like him being enlightened or anything like that. It is just these women helped him get through that misogyny. And once you kind of look at these things, you do unfortunately see how they all kind of tie into this kind of horrible thing we're seeing at the moment. I also thought his discussion around 2008 being our equivalent of, what was it, the 1920s, late 1920s. I mean, I definitely know a lot of us have been feeling like the 1930s is kind of starting to seem a little too now. So yeah, it was just interesting because I think we've had conversations in the past, even here on, Friday show or just the chat in general, about how, all of this is kind of coming about and how it's all kind of unfortunately interlinked and just held up by the system that we're fucking stuck inside of and is absolutely draining all of us. But yeah, I just thought that was a kind of, especially because I think some of the stuff that we're going to look at tonight, obviously that's all kind of a good baseline to start and kind of get our perspective from, I think. But I think next we will go into you know what? Actually, we'll go into something a little nice real quickly because I realized I forgot to do this at the beginning. But for those of you who are in the Discord, you already know what I'm about to talk about. But for those of you who aren't, I have gone ahead and I have created the new Big Hairy Neighborhood. So I think some people have kind of wanted there to be a Facebook group. So we've got a Facebook group now. And you can go in there. As you can see, there's a few people already in there at the moment. Not much going on in here yet because obviously we've only just kind of opened the doors. Did a little bit of a welcome post to everyone who's joined so far and who will be joining. There's also, I've created these just little conversation threads that are region based, so people can kind of connect, maybe find people in their area, kind of post about things that are going on, so we can all kind of actually start to, I guess, do stuff with this community and network that we're building at the moment. I think when it comes to, you know, a lot of the stuff that we're looking at and we're observing in terms of, you know, fascism and alt-right issues, I think this is kind of the other side of it, is about trying to find these spaces where we can kind of come together, actually, you know, share information, actually kind of organize events. You know, hell, it'd be awesome at some point for, you know, not just Wellington to be having you know, BHN meetups. Eventually it'd be great if people were just kind of like, you know what, I want to have a BHN meetup, let's fucking chuck it up on the Facebook post, or, you know, we can also chuck it in the Discord. Like, it'd be great to see these kind of things happening. Like, we do see a little bit of it over in the Discord. I see a lot of people there sharing really awesome information and kind of asking each other questions about more regional issues. And yeah, it's just great to kind of work on that, expand on that. And I think by having the neighborhood, it'd be good to start kind of, you know, getting more neighbors and also like meeting new neighbors as well. So if that's your thing, go over to the Facebook and type in Big Hairy Neighborhood, and it's just a public group. You're welcome to come on in, post some stuff, and yeah, let's start doing stuff over there, eh? Also, I'm sure, as we can all see, there is a QR code in the top left corner of the screen. My brain just had to check whether that was left or right. But yes, if you scan that QR code, it takes you to a link where you can vote for us in the podcast awards. So if you haven't done that, like, get your phone out, take a little snip of it, you know, just go and go vote for us. That'd be awesome. Yeah, really exciting to see, especially with all the stuff that we've got going, everything that's kind of going on in the background, and for next year. It's going to be really exciting, especially now. I'm so excited for those pins. Those badges look so good, and I can't wait to start wearing them, because I can't always be wearing my BHN hoodie. All right. Now, since it's going to take me a little bit to upload our meme PDFs, I think what we'll do is we will jump into this first story tonight around the abuse in state care, which I'm sure some of you have seen this already, but for those of you who haven't, make sure I'm sharing this to the screen this time. The government is trying to make it harder for some abuse survivors to get their redress. Now, to be honest, when I saw this, I was just fucking absolutely disgusted. And sadly, I guess, not surprised. So, this is by Laura Walters and says, the same week that the government announces the Solicitor General is leaving the role, the coalition has introduced legislation that will further shield the state from taking responsibility for the horrific and widespread abuse of children under its care. The government plans to pass a law making it harder for state abuse survivors with a history of violent or serious offending to access redress, something a lawyer and survivor advocate describes as unjust, discriminatory, and contrary to the principles of trauma-informed, survivor-focused redress. This, despite overwhelming evidence, including the reports from the Royal Commission of Inquiry into State Abuse, that there is a strong link between the abuse suffered by these people at the hands of the state and the subsequent offending. Which, obviously, you feel like you shouldn't have to actually go any further than that. It's just absolute, the worst example of victim blaming that I could possibly even think of, but trust this government to be evil enough to go ahead and do this. It goes on to say, at the same time, the redress system for abuse and care bill, which was introduced to Parliament on Monday as part of the coalition's $774 million redress scheme, also explicitly provides legal cover for state agencies when they apologise to survivors who suffered while under their care. This comes as the government's redress scheme is being tested in court, with Lake Alice survivor Malcolm Richards continuing his court battle, alleging the scheme fails to provide fair and proper redress as required by international law. Labour spokesperson for children, Willow Jean Prime, says she's concerned the bill doesn't follow the redress recommendations of the Royal Commission, adding that it hadn't been designed with input and collaboration from survivors. These concerns are echoed by the Green Party and expert lawyers who have worked with more than 1,400 survivors of state and faith-based abuse, which is just a horrible amount of people suffering. Newsroom reported that the state has gone to lengths to minimize, cover up, deny, and avoid liability in regards to the abuse that occurred and harm caused since then. There are ongoing criticisms from survivors about the lack of accountability and fair redress. In a move first signalled in May, this proposed law will explicitly remove the automatic eligibility for abuse survivors to access financial compensations as part of the redress process if they have a conviction for a violent or serious criminal offence. The government considers that making payments to individuals convicted of serious violent or sexual offences without further independent consideration risks bringing the redress system into disrepute, the explanatory note of the bill says, which feels like such a fucking dog whistle in there. That is a very stinky, I would like to call that a very stinky statement, because it's implying that they'll tarnish the good name of the people who gave the money for abuse. It's just the most, it doesn't make logical sense. It is not something that should be like a consideration of, do you deserve this money because you ended up making decisions that ended you in that position that were likely heavily influenced by the abuse that these people have gone through, given the early age that these people start, and you know, these things, they can cause an entire lifetime of pain, and the fact that they're just doing their best to try and do as little as possible and pay as little as possible. Like, they're more than happy when it comes to fucking Judy and anything she wants. the money has to be found when it comes to trying to at least even just try to make up for the abuse. I mean, some of the payments, if I remember reading from this, are about maybe $30,000, which is $30,000. That is a good amount of money, and I'm sure that would be helpful to a lot of people. But to say that someone's childhood trauma is only worth 30,000 when it causes God knows how much in real life, we don't really think about how much, the bad decisions do actually cost money in the long run. I mean, a slightly different example that I can think of is kind of like how people talk about, the ADHD tax, where unfortunately, due to forgetting about things, you often end up wasting a lot of money because you forget things are on the oven, or forget they're even sitting in the fridge, etc., etc. But yeah, it's just, and I mean, yeah, government sanctioned childhood trauma, like these things are hard enough for so many. I believe quite a number of people actually took a payout payment that you can apply for them to essentially, I guess, grade your case, and then how much money you should therefore then be, I guess, compensated, which in itself is kind of a strange thought when you really think about it, trying to go, okay, so you've had this much trauma for this long, yep, so you get this much. It's just absolutely horrific. It's not great. Sorry, Fano, just checking. Emz was messaging me. Checking my phone. But it's just something that I want to say I can't believe, but I can believe. So where I will just find so they also, in terms of the bill that they're trying to pass through at the moment, there was no regulatory impact assessment completed for the bill. But the departmental disclosure statement does also point to the retrospectivity of the legislation, which applies to anyone who has made a redress claim on or after May 9th. So that's also another kind of issue that comes into play with this already horrible fucking situation. I just see if I can find there's a really good article. I highly recommend going and actually reading all of this if you can. This bill also explicitly exempts state agencies from legal liability when making apologies to survivors as part of the redress process. Apologies form an important part of the redress provided to survivors of abuse and care. However, the risk of liability following an apology in a context where it has not been possible to fully establish the facts provides a disincentive to the making of fulsome apologies by core state agencies, the explanatory note of the bill states. God, I kind of hate that term now. The legislation provides that the personal apologies given by core state agencies as part of providing redress for abuse and care will not be admissible as evidence in civil proceedings that seek remedies for abuse in state care, and are not to be treated as expressly or implicitly admitting guilt. This is the stinkiest part. It gets stinkier, unfortunately, because this is just a slap in the face and just absolute shitting on these victims. broader issues of whether the state was taking full accountability and offering a fair and proper redress remains a contentious one, as you could probably tell. The Royal Commission's final report also detailed the lengths institutions have gone to cover up or minimize the abuse and dodge moral, legal, and financial responsibility. There has been widespread abuse and neglect in state and faith-based care, which has had a devastating personal and multi-generational impact on survivors, their whānau, and society as a whole. It has been minimized and covered up by the institutions responsible. Significant resources have been used to deny survivors their voice and to defend the indefensible. This must stop. Commissioner went on to say political and public service leaders spent time, energy, and taxpayer resources to hide, cover up, and then legally fight survivors to protect the potential perceived costs to the Crown and their own reputations. Faith leaders similarly fought to cover up abuse by moving abusers to other locations and denying culpability. The report said despite decades of calls for investigations, inquiries, and redress, survivors had been unheard, disbelieved, ignored, and silenced. Their experiences had been minimized or dismissed, and they were told by those in power that the abuse and neglect was not systematic. Which, again, more kicking in the face and just absolutely shitting on everything that the government is responsible for enabling for so fucking long. And to be honest, I did actually find an article. Did I not? I was looking into an article that was discussing, the fact that has abuse in state care actually changed? Because some of the stuff that I was looking at in there essentially kind of reports that ever since then, not much has changed. And there is a lot more that needs to be done to change the systemic issue that is absolutely rife in state and faith-based care. And James says here, they want the good optics of an apology without accepting real responsibility. Absolute removing responsibility from the state. And yes, we do have to roll this government. Although I wish it wasn't a tale as old as time, because what the fuck? The absolute bar is in hell, people, and it's getting a little warm. I don't like it. But yeah, it's a bad one. I mean, we've already seen, I think we've had it on the show before where, the Royal Commission made a number of recommendations. And I remember us looking at the coloured charts that I had for us a while ago, and how they've barely even scratched the surface, and the ones that they've ticked off the list are the easiest ones to do. It's just horrible, and it's already hard enough when, you're a person who's having the government target you. But when you're a person who's gone through this, it's just absolutely horrendous. Also, I heard a little noise, which means, I think, yay, Emz is back. There's actually a camera visible. Woo.
Oh no, what happened?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I tried, I unplugged it and I replugged it, and the only thing I didn't do was restart my computer because I didn't want to be too late. So you know what? I just last minute panic, added a little profile picture, and we've just been hanging out, just been vibing. It's been some ASMR apparently, and
love it.
The story is obviously not a great story that we're on. I don't know if you read this today, much. since you were very busy today.
Yes, but no, I did have a quick read through it. Yeah, not great stuff. But
Nah.
when is it ever great stuff?
No. It's always a shit show with this government. I'll take this off there. But yes, how was your ball?
It was great.
Hell yeah.
The students were very cute, fantastically dressed,
Hell yeah.
better dressed than I could ever be, or at least better dressed than I was at my ball.
Kids putting you to
which is-
shame.
Pretty low bar. No, they're all stunning. Very well put together. The boys all looked wonderful, very handsome. Teachers all looked wonderful and very handsome and very pretty. And we did some voting. We ate some savouries, and then we got on the road. And now I'm here with you, looking very glam. Glamorous.
Nice. Well, that sounds like a good time. Well,
Yeah.
I'm wondering if now that you're back, do we reckon I restart my computer? Do we reckon?
You do that, and I
Why
will
not?
entertain the peoples. I'm going to assume you've done all your housekeeping and everything.
Yes, we did the housekeeping. I also showed the whānau the Big Hairy Neighborhood, our Facebook group, since I'm like, you know what, fuck it, we ball. Let's go. So yes, we've done all that housekeeping, and
Nice.
the banner has been up the whole time. So I also reminded them about the QR code.
Good on you.
Right?
Magenta's got this, man.
We've had a very jam-packed 34 minutes, haven't we, whānau? And we haven't even had a meme yet, funnily enough. I haven't even had a
Oh, I
chance
thought
to
you
bloody
would've-
load them in. Nah, I was panicking about the video, man. I was sweating. Anyway.
Well, I'll entertain the peoples with some Chloe.
Yes, and I'll
do you
hopefully
want
be
to come
right
back? Yeah, hopefully.
Fingers
Fingers crossed.
All right.
Otherwise, it'll be 2 solo streams.
Right. Wish me luck. Bye.
Fingers crossed. Yes, like I said, we're gonna look at some Chloe. Chloe was on a podcast. Again, which is great. And I thought we could have a little look at it because it's a Friday, and Fridays are always a great time to look at some positives. In fact, we got 2 positive stories. We also got the episode, the 6-7 clip from South Park that played last night. It's always fun because I think Magenta is a bit of a South Park fan. I myself am. There she goes. Oh, sorry. There they go. I am not as much of a South Park fan. However, I do appreciate the current South Park season as it taking the piss out of Trump's administration. So how could you not enjoy it? So we'll have a look at the 6-7 clip. Maybe we'll do it when Magenta gets back because they might take a few minutes. But in the meantime, we'll look at the Chloe clip. And I think Magenta's already seen the Chloe clip, so we can get their thoughts when they come back. Rightio. I feel like I need some lo-fi music in the background or something. I have defected to the right. What do you mean I've defected to the right? Is that because my picture was on the right? Kind of makes sense. Oh, I usually have someone to fill the space while I get this ready. Thankfully, I was smart and I did timestamp all of this before I left. Pat myself on the back. Right. Oh, a quality of 480p. Wow, that's some high quality stuff, guys. Also, I've got we talked about it a few weeks ago. Someone mentioned, oh, YouTube's updated the UI. And I finally have a new UI. Not a huge fan of it. Not my favorite. Although, sometimes can be done. Sorry, I just realized that is coming through the audio, which is good. which means it all works. Right, let's get into it. So, Chloe Swarbrick, our favourite, well, many of our people's favourite MP. She was on the Bold Politics with Zack Polanski. It's a British podcast. I assume it's a British podcast. He has a very posh British accent, and she was in the UK most recently. Chatting about being a Green MP, about socialism, as one would do. And the thing that kind of stood out in this particular interview, because she was with Gary Economics a couple of weeks ago, I assume filmed at the same time that she was in the UK and filmed this one. But she was more so talking about the economics, the capital gains tax, things that were missing in kind of how our economic system works. We know we're a economy where our economy is trading properties or selling properties to each other with like capitalism on the side or something. I think that's kind of similarly explained. So she was talking more about that on the Gary Stevenson podcast. This one, she talks more about her personal politics journey, being an MP, her experiences, what she's learned. And she does mention about sort of the left all need to kind of get together. And the podcast itself is called Why We Should Want Our Politicians to Be Flawed, talking about action that's imperfect, or imperfect action. Kind of done is better than perfect. Perfection is the enemy of good is the other one. My two favorite sayings. I was talking to someone and they had never heard that before, and I'm like, really? That's like my go-to motto these days, because otherwise nothing ever gets done. So let's have a listen to Chloe. I just realized I'm gonna do the thing. Gonna do the thing. Is the thing. Hell yeah. So let's have a listen to Chloe. And this first wee bit is her talking about her journey into politics, a little bit more about herself, and just a bit of a background. I won't go through all of her background stuff, but kind of the first wee bit in the first major bill or legislation that she was part of. Oh, our background's not the right colour. Magenta. What have you done? You got to have the right background. Cold caller. Yeah, that's bright, hairy news. So, yeah, talking about her sort of first leg into politics, and then we'll go into, some more her philosophy in politics as well. So, if I know what I'm doing, I do. And if I do one of these, and if I do one of these, you guys hear?
Three big strands that I've really seen is campaigning for a wealth tax, justice for Palestinians and all oppressed people around the world, and also drug legalisation.
Yeah, that is a pretty good bunch of baskets that you put out there. Yeah, so in my first term in Parliament, 2017 to 2023, very much was coloured by that work for drug law reform, and that came about. I never intended to go to Parliament to advocate for drug law reform, but Julianne Genter, who is one of our Green MPs, became a minister in that government. And as a minister, you can't progress a members' bill. So she passed her members' bill on legalising medicinal cannabis to me. And then I just ended up getting into the weeds, excuse the turn of phrase. But the more that I uncovered, the more that I learned that, drug policy is one of those areas that is actually some of the most profoundly anti-evidence and anti-compassion policy that we have going for us. And funnily enough, we operate off the back of something called the Misuse of Drugs Act 1975, which is largely a carbon copy of your guys' Misuse of Drugs Act 1972. It's, just anti-evidence compounds harm. No one's going to put their hand up and ask for help if they risk going away in handcuffs. As things progressed, I was also on the Environment Select Committee.
And then, she talks about a wee bit of a... I kind of forget that she was kind of at the forefront of the legalised cannabis era, campaign, time, legislation. But in a way, like now that I think about it, I wonder if it painted her as a bit of a greenie, meaning more so like being a bit of a one-trick pony, I guess is probably the way I'd put it. But interesting. Thinking to myself, the legalized cannabis drum circle. Yeah, that kind of vibe. Unfortunately, I wonder if that kind of painted her or pushed her into that hole because she was fronting it. Magenta, you're back.
Yeah, I don't know what StreamYard. I don't know what StreamYard's up to. OBS can see my camera. Fucking, I don't know what's up.
What browser? Do you need to try
Chrome.
the? I think Pat's like Internet Explorer is the only one that works, which for me that's not true. But you could try that. Otherwise,
I could try that.
You've got a beautiful little icon, and people will put up with some technical difficulties, won't they?
Exactly. I'm sure it'll be fine for now.
That's okay. We're watching some videos anyway, so we tiny in the corner.
Yay.
So we were just talking. We were just showing a wee clip from the Zack Polanski podcast.
Yes.
And it was just the first wee clip with Chloe talking about her experience getting into politics, and she was talking about how she was sort of fronting the legalized cannabis campaign.
Yes.
The next clip I have. So the question is about Chloe. Chloe sort of being a champion for rational thinking and being evidence-based and pushing people to think about the evidence. And she kind of gets a bit of shell shock, I guess, when she gets into politics, and it seems to be everyone pushes evidence aside. Is it this clip? Yeah, it's this clip.
Always the best facials.
I know. Look good. All right, let's see if this works.
My second term became a local MP, which was all about connecting the dots from the work that we were doing in Parliament back to a really local constituency, and trying to build up a sense of understanding within my communities that we actually can do politics on a day-to-day basis and take back a sense of control and power in our lives, and that those kind of microcosms of hope by practicing our values can grow and grow and grow, and that's how we change the world around us. And then, this term I became our co-leader and have very much set my sights on economic reform. And obviously, as an undercurrent to all of that, with the genocide in Palestine, I think that anybody who would like to call themselves a political leader has a responsibility to stand up for human rights and justice. That kind of just seems like common sense to me.
Quite. And
Apologies, wrong clip. But again, talking about leadership and the philosophy and having a bit of a spine was the undercurrent of what she was getting at there. So we're getting to the meat and potatoes of this. So this clip is about her talking. Sorry, apologies. Sometimes I stack the paragraph before the timestamp, and sometimes put the timestamp after the paragraph. And so I'm like, which of these clips is the correct one? Have I done this correctly? Sometimes I don't. But this one, she talks about how people don't listen to evidence, which I think we all know that Chloe is an evidence-based politician, and legislation and policy should be based on evidence, not ideology. So, but she's got some great thoughts on this, and she talks about sort of more the community and building trust and showing up in the community and showing up for people to build that trust and show that she is there, she's in politics, she's in Parliament for us, fighting for us and what's right in the world.
Hell yeah.
Been a real nerd. I remember just being a kid and reading about the state of the world and going, why the hell is everything so cooked? And then, I got involved in kind of some student journalism, and I was interviewing all these different politicians and community leaders and experts and researchers, and I couldn't understand the gulf between the people who had dedicated their lives to solving these problems and what they were saying was necessary, and then the umming and ahhing and deflecting and nonsense that the politicians would say about how this is just the way that things are. And this is where I think that there's actually a lot of wisdom in children and in young people. When young people look at homeless people sleeping rough outside of luxury stores, or they read about turtles choking on plastic and they go, why is this happening? And the best that we can kind of proffer them as adults is, that's just the way that the world works. Well, maybe we need to dig a little bit deeper because the world's not working as it should. So I just thought that if we were to outline the information to people and people had time to sit with that, then we'd all come to the rational conclusion that we should do things differently, because very clearly what we're doing right now isn't working. It's producing climate change, it's producing these maddening inequalities, and it's actively eroding our democracy. But funnily enough, that earnest belief that people will change their mind when confronted with the evidence has a lot of parallels with the nonsense of the rational man in Economics 101, doesn't it?
Right.
And after
so just a wee bit of a taster. She does go on a wee bit more, but any thoughts on that particular part, Magenta?
Oh, I mean, to be fair, this whole video, I was just like, oh, man, we need more people that talk like this in positions of power. It just, common sense is not so common. And I'm just glad that she's out here fucking advocating and fighting for us, honestly.
I'm playing with our microphone levels, and I want people to say too loud, too quiet, because I'm always editing it and I'm going, damn, I was too loud. Damn, Magenta was too loud. Damn, Magenta was too quiet. I was too quiet. It's very annoying. So I'm going to keep playing around with them. And I'm watching the little green thing. The green thing's not very accurate though. So,
it's not the best.
Our favorite audio files, please just put it in the chat as you see fit. Right. So she continues a little bit on in the next wee bit. So she's just kind of going more into the philosophy side of things. In the next wee bit, she talks about kind of showing up and being imperfect, and how that's really important, and a bit more about the trust building with communities that she's in front of.
conclusion that actually you can spend all this time trying to formulate the most perfect argument and collect all of this evidence, but there is no point being right if we're left clinging to our mountains of evidence when the last tree is cut down. And we therefore have a lot more work to do a lot faster in terms of building trust. And trust looks like, in a political sense, and particularly in an electoral politics sense.
Thank you.
It looks like not only turning up when there's votes to be won,
right.
It looks like genuinely caring about the lives that people live and doing everything that you can to try and improve those lives. So this is where, again, as we were talking about before we came on, I think that proof of concept for people that the Greens are not just going to turn up in election time and, you know, hopefully get more people into parliaments, which then means that we can change public policy, but also demonstrating and practicing our values on the daily, where we show people that through organising on street corners, we can save our local parks, so we can make sure that our kids are being fed, or, you know, safer speeds, or whatever the case may be.
I love listening to her.
I know, right?
I know that people are just like, you're such shills for Chloe, and it's like,
why
well, yeah,
wouldn't you
shills
be?
for fucking David Seymour and Winston Peters. Fuck off. But she honestly just sounds like a human being having a human being conversation, and it's so nice to see someone be able to pull out numbers and evidence and talk about the things that are important to her without it being this political speak or double speak, or it's speaking to a certain audience, and it's just like, it's just human to human stuff. And I don't see enough of that in politics, and I think this is a lot about the state of politics worldwide, not just here in New Zealand, but around the world.
Absolutely.
Any thoughts?
I mean, I actually just really like the fact that, you know, she kind of more pointed out that it's about like living to your values and, you know, how your morals and that. Like, I think there are a lot of people who could do more to kind of align themselves kind of with where they actually say they're at. And I think that's just something a lot of people don't even really think about. And I think it's just something that's good to reflect on in general as a person.
This definitely this is something that actually came across my brain today. I don't know if it was while I was watching this, but very much about that authenticity thing of like, she reminds me a lot of Jacinda in that respect, where she's talking about the evidence, she's talking about the things that she really values, that things are like the cornerstone of her politics and why she went into it and her philosophy around things. And very much similar to Jacinda, just a very off the cuff, candid. There's no hidden agenda. At least I don't think. Some people in the comments were just like, she only says things for TikTok and to go viral on views. And I'm like, fuck off. Find a politician who doesn't do that.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is, I feel like that's just people who are jaded. And I think sometimes, especially potentially older people, when they see kind of a young person not only kind of pushing against, you know, what's going on and I guess the social norm, and them going, I think kind of makes people go, fuck, I could do that. Fuck, maybe I should have done that. And then they feel guilty and they go, no, fuck you. I don't want to feel like a bad person. You're the bad person because you're just trying to make yourself look good. It's like, no, sometimes people are just good fucking people and they want better for the world. Like a lot of people who have had some not so great, you know, lives, rather than trying to wish bad upon others, do everything in their power to make sure that that doesn't happen to as many people as they can, you know? Like, I think different people process those things different ways. And I think we see it a lot in the Green Party. Like, I don't know if you saw the recent post from Tamitha.
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. I wasn't going to put it in, but you know what? I will. It's not hard for me to find her page.
You go and find that, and I'll continue this wee bit here because it sort of continues the same line of thinking around, showing up. I've got my things in the right order now. Got it. The timestamp comes after the commentary that I put in my notes. One of these days I'll be a pro. I'm no Pat, guys. It's a high bar to get.
Well, we haven't. We're almost at our first birthday, okay? We're still babies.
We are still babies. All right. Chloe, entertain us.
Doctrine from Naomi Klein or whatever else. The right are so good at using crises to further their agenda. And I think on the left, we've been so obsessed with being right or having everything be perfect or fighting amongst ourselves on that basis that we haven't quite articulated in a coherent way what the alternative is, and people need that right now. They need something to believe in and something to work towards and a game plan. We're not experts, Zach. Right. You know, we are politicians. We are people who've put ourselves forward because we really care about things, but we can't hold ourselves out to know absolutely everything. You know, any politician who does is either lying to you or completely lacking self-awareness, and I'm not sure which of those is worse. What our job is to be clear about our values, to surround ourselves and go into communities that will challenge us, and to work with people, being really clear about our values as our guiding star, to try and come up with these solutions and then just move forward and do the damn thing. It doesn't need to be perfect, but right now, our people are struggling at such scale that we need to show that change is possible, not just talk about it, we have to show it.
Do the damn thing.
Absolutely.
And I think that actually speaks to something quite true about the Greens, is that they definitely seemed, I hate this because it comes out of fucking Silicon Valley, but that whole thing of being quite agile. And I mean, there is a line, right? There is the move fast and break things, national style.
Yep.
Everything goes through urgency and then you fuck everything up because you didn't think it through. And then there's move fast and break things and fix them. As in, like, let's try something in order to, it's probably more move fast and fix things and fix things and fix things and fix things. I think that's the thing, is that we've got to continue to build on those fixes, as opposed to every time a new government comes in, they burn everything to the ground.
Yeah.
And then before they can get anywhere, the next term comes along and it's like, what the fuck have you done? You've either been national and you fucked everything over for your own benefit, or you've been Labour and you've been too slow to do anything. So it's finding the middle ground, I guess, but it's being able to point to the right things and see fixes to it. And that's actually something I thought about, Tamitha actually brought up quite a bit earlier on, I think about a good year ago, or it might have even been earlier in the year, when she was talking about the bill that she was putting together, or the policies she was putting together around the cycle of violence, I think it was. She was on BHN talking about it.
Yeah.
And how she was, the pipeline to violence, or the pipeline to poverty, I think it was. Crime to poverty, to prison pipeline?
Yeah, poverty to prison. Yeah.
There you go. I got there eventually. And I loved that she was just like, we're doing the mahi now. We're getting there. We're actually, so that when we do get into government, the work's been done and we're ready to go. And I think that's what Labour are also doing right now with their capital gains, is they've taken the last year to figure it out, to actually talk to the right people, figure it out, get a really strong policy, and then when they can hit the ground running, they know their policy inside and out, and they can combat all the people that are like, capital gains on my retirement fund and inheritance tax and all this sort of stuff. Because that's going to be a challenge to fight.
Yeah, I mean, I also don't think that, like, I think people are kind of overestimating how much it's going to affect a certain level of wealth. I think some people just think, oh, if you're considered to be rich. No, it's not quite that simple. It's more like, are you a fucking dragon sitting on a hoard of money that you can't really spend? So, like, there's a difference. But I mean, I also think it's just, pointing out with the way that she pointed out the manufacturing of crises. I mean, we see a lot of that coming out of this government just in general at the moment. I don't know if you saw one of Jordan Rivers' recent videos about old Nikki No Boats and her manufacturing of this, what the fuck was it again? It was, the supermarket stuff. It's stuff to do with supermarkets. But she's just using wording that's very much kind of, I guess, making up imaginary scenarios that don't actually exist so that they can fix them. And that's just something that we see a lot from this government.
Did you find your...
yeah, you want to look at the Tamitha?
Yeah, one, check it up and then we'll look at the last clip.
Here. Oh, I got too many in. There we go.
Yeah,
so this is Tam in the hospital.
Oh, no.
Have I checked it up? No, I haven't checked it up. Tam in the hospital. I don't think many people are aware, but Tam is disabled. So she says here, from a young age, I lived with lupus, SLE, and rheumatoid arthritis. And as of the last year, I've had a fun heart problem too. My whole life, I've learned to mask the impact of my disabilities, but they affect me on a daily basis. Chronic pain and fatigue. Sometimes I can't move or even get out of bed because I am too crippled. But I am one of the most disabled MPs, but try to keep this to myself because I worry that people will use it against me or try to take my independence/autonomy away by making decisions on my behalf. Disabled people know this paternalism all too well, but we have made it this far with all of our disabilities and must be trusted to know what is best for our bodies. About a year into becoming an MP, I noticed changes in my body. I did a lot of tests and found out that at least a third of my heartbeats were irregular. Today, I finally got an ablation, which is basically zapping my heart back into a regular rhythm. I'm lucky because I can afford to see a private rheumatologist for my autoimmune conditions, and I can afford to pay my visit to my GP regularly, a privilege that many people can no longer afford. I've been waiting a year for this surgery. It's been so long despite being urgent because our healthcare system is under such immense strain. I wholeheartedly support our nurses and doctors. I support their strikes, even if it inconveniences me, because I know they deserve safe working conditions and fair pay. And then she just goes on to talk about, obviously, how shit this government is. And yeah, if people hadn't seen that, like, this is the strongest wahine toa, and she's always doing so much mahi, as well as being, heavily disabled. And it's impressive, and she deserves the kind of, I guess, recognition for doing all that she does for us. And also being still so supportive of our nurses needing to strike because shit's fucked. Or shit's cooked, I should say, as the Queen says.
I think that really points to what something I enlightened hat on. I thought, it's always nice when he's like, I hadn't thought of that. And I'm like, I got one for you. Another one you can add to your list. What I was saying about why everyone's behind doctors and nurses and needing to fund our health system, and why there are hardly anyone, if anyone, believing the bullshit that Simeon and Brown is putting out there about we're fixing things, everything's better. Because at the end of the day, if you need emergency care, private hospital's not going to do shit for you. They're going to send you to the public hospital. And if the public hospital doesn't have enough funding for your ED, you're going to be waiting a long time and a lot of pain. And some people, unfortunately, because of that, die because they can't get the care that they need. So there are people, and like Amitha just pointed out there as well, is that she can afford to go private, but even in private, she had a very long waiting list, which shows that even if you can pay for private healthcare, still it's just as bad. Everything is fucked. Everything is cooked.
It's like, oh, she can do some of that more intermediary stuff, that specialty stuff, but there's, I guess, the bottleneck. It's a bottleneck.
Yeah. And because everyone, there's probably a good chunk of middle New Zealand that are our parents, for example, or our parents' generations and our grandparents' generations who perhaps have been able to build up that probably generational wealth as well, but able to build wealth, selling properties to each other and were able to make the most of that time. There'll be a decent number of people that can, in their retirements or in their late working years, can afford private and to go private when they're starting to get sick. So they may not have needed the health system before, but now they're like, shit, I need the health system for my heart, my lungs, my liver, my everything. And they realize that the health system is fucked. And then they having to just go private, and they can afford private. But even in private, they're coming against the same walls because of this just global, but national issue when it comes to healthcare. So I think everyone's going to back the doctors and nurses, and I don't think Simeon is winning this public
oh God, no
fallacy that he's trying to push. It's
I'm
not
surprised
working.
he's got the fucking cojones, honestly. Just brave little man.
Brave or dumb, not quite sure, but
both.
Yeah, it's a bit of both. Right, so let's look at the very last clip from Chloe. It's about the lessons learned and sort of the approach that she now takes to politics. Just kind of last little clip to warm your hearts.
Maybe I'd phrase it as things you've learned.
Yeah.
What are the kind of key lessons?
I refer to something which I've said so many times before, which is that politicians are tools, mate. And I mean that in the sense that, but we are in such immense positions of privilege, and we should only be here so long as we can actually be useful. So I think being clear about understanding whose voice you're going to listen to as to, trying to ascertain whether that usefulness is expiring or indeed, getting bigger.
Who do we think she's nodding to there, guys? Is there a dinosaur in Parliament? Surely not. Surely not. There's not someone digging their own grave, is there?
I think that that's really important. I think that also, as we were talking about before, kind of that humility and not being dogmatic and being willing to challenge yourself, because that also can strengthen your views through that process of self-challenge. But yeah, I think our biggest job is to ensure that we are reflecting the people who put us in these positions, and just to do the damn thing, which every day means that we get to inch closer to the world that we deserve to live in. So I think it's about, not fussing around making sure that everything is absolutely perfect in terms of the rhetoric, but it's actually actively getting our hands dirty and building the world that we want to live in.
And then on the wealth
And the next wee bit that they go into is the wealth tax, capital gains tax, which is a conversation that I think she had quite similar kind of conversation she had with Gary Stevenson, which we've looked at before. Yeah, but I love that Chloe is able to say we're not perfect, we keep changing, our views change. Like the thing that came to mind was the someone brought up that when Seymour was like, we should get rid of helmets. I was just like, what the fuck? But if you look back and see that, actually, Chloe was also in favour of having non-compulsory helmets for city things. And I think she's obviously changed, I assume, she's probably changed her tune on that a wee bit when she's looked at the facts and seen, actually, no, there's good reason why we should keep it. And like most of us, we should have a set of values that we stick to, but we shouldn't be so dogmatic that those values don't change. And we like I think gender's probably the one that, and I keep slipping up, I'm so sorry. Gender's the one that I've had to kind of live through and change, but not like a I never believed in the spectrum of gender. More so like it's something that I've had to kind of embrace as that became more of a discourse that was regular, especially in our kind of circles and in our age group. The Tumblr generation.
Oh God, yeah.
And that's something that I've been like, okay, so like that's like I've changed my views a little bit and I've learned more things. Maybe there is a place for transgenders in sport, or like all of that. So like it's just changing with the times and changing with the people. And I think that's just something we have to keep in mind, that you can have those set values, but those set values shouldn't be rocked by change, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, unfortunately, those set values, they become a bit too core to a person's identity. So kind of when those things are challenged, they kind of feel personally attacked because of the way they kind of see those things. So I can definitely see how it's different, but it's so important to be able to like change, because I mean, I know even just myself, like coming from when I was say 18 to now, holy fuck, those are two different people. And thank God, because if I had stayed on the path that fucking 18-year-old me was on, holy shit, I probably would have voted for ACT or something. I don't know. Wouldn't have been good. Let's just say that. So I'm definitely a proponent of being like, you know what? As long as there's enough evidence, even if it kind of pisses me off, I'll change my mind.
Sometimes begrudgingly to start, and then you're like, man, that was such a shitty, like, stupid thing to be kind of
perfect example.
Die on the hill
of. Smoking. I used to be a cigarette smoker, and I was all like, hey, you can't force me to fucking go on vaping. And now I'm like, you know what? That was for the best. Like, I'm glad that that's not a habit that I really have in my life anymore. I don't even vape anymore. It's great. But, that took me a while to come around. I was one of those real people who was like, you can't take away my rights to smoke cigarettes. And I'm just like, you know what? Sometimes people don't know what's good for them. And you do kind of have to disincentivize things. Like, that's just how it is.
Lot's got a great little comment here. When we listen to balanced views and have to embrace new information to change our biases, that is how we grow and adapt with change. Absolutely. We should always be growing as human beings. There was something that happened, and I can't think what it was now, but you were saying about how, like, you don't want to be the person you were when you were 18 because we would be screwed up human beings. There was something that happened in the news, and it was talking about I know what it was. Some More News, which is a comedy podcast deep dive. It's kind of like the more awkward indie version of John Oliver, and it's kind of a bit more scripted and things. But they did a deep dive into I can't remember his name, but he's basically a minion in Trump's. He's kind of like Trump's little right hand man who's feeding him information. He's an absolute white supremacist. But they had a look at his background and things. If someone can remember, Stephen Miller. Thank you. They did a little bit of a like. We don't really want to do this, but we kind of have to. Someone did a whole book about his like upbringing and stuff. And the comment that they made was basically, like he is back then. He was unabashedly saying awful things. He had this big, like, massive grudge against the Latino population. He had to move to like a smaller house than his big mansion into a smaller mansion in suburban LA, somewhere in California, I think. And you know, he had maids, and he was embarrassed when the maids, his Latino maids, would drop him off at school with their shitty cars, and how it made him look poor. Like, he was just that kind of person that was like, you're a fucking awful human being. And the comment that they made is just like, this is a man who never grew up. Like, he was like, this is the person I am, and this is a person I'm going to be forever.
Oh yeah,
and he
some
just
people
has
really
never grown up.
Some people take pride in that though. Like, I even know, like, I mean, I think about kind of cringe elder millennial bullshit, and I just think of that, like, you know, oh, you know, nowadays music sucks. I still listen to the same playlist from when I was 16 years old because those were the good, like, they just, yeah, people can take some weird senses of pride and not changing, which is kind of cringe.
Right. Well, that's Chloe's story. And I think you've got some memes.
Yeah, we'll have to start with the weekend memes since I didn't get a chance to put these up earlier. Obviously we had Jim Bolger passed away, which was kind of random. Honestly, didn't expect it. I saw this when you and Chewy were hanging out this week. Good old Jerry Brownlee being the fashion police. Yes, obviously. This is just obviously a reminder that Finns are they're struggling. Wellington. I think I just saw reports that Wellington's last aerial fire truck is broken. It's broken. So I don't know. We're running out. We're running out of fucking fire engines. Obviously, saw some great protests. Great protest sign here. And obviously more great. Protest. Yeah, protest protection lines.
I really hope we see some frogs next week. That is like my hope. There better be frogs. There better be inflatable mascot costumes, because that is something that I do not want to see go away. This is like peak. What is it? Probably Gen Z millennial.
Oh yeah, Gen
right?
Z meme culture for sure.
Absolutely.
You could also maybe also the autists do like to own the frogs. So I don't know. There's probably some crossover going on there. But either way, I do know when Kiwi Bird posted a link to some frog costumes from Dick Smith, they were already like on low stock. So
wow.
I think we might be lucky.
Yes.
Obviously, just, you know, we had our local elections. Just, yeah, some little fun with friend of the show, old Nandor. This is terrifying. I'm sorry, but this is a horrible picture. It's a horrible picture, and that ad was so fucking horrendous. Like, I missed AI it. Slop. Oh my god, you're lucky. I wouldn't recommend. Like, if you don't want to watch it, I wouldn't go back and watch it if I were you. It was just ugh. Gary made this one. Oh, Gary, pointing out that, you know, believe removing the requirement to wear a tie reduced the standards across Parliament, and standards continue to slip. I mean, this is a pretty amazing fit. Great tie, you know. And this is just a meme that I thought was dumb and funny. Are you today's date? Because you're a 17 out of 10. Hey, Emz is like, man,
so
why did I?
But also kind of funny.
Yeah.
Lame but funny.
Right. Sometimes that's my favorite. Oh, yeah.
Do you want to see some fun stuff?
Ooh, yes.
Do you want a little giggle?
Hell yeah.
A little giggle. Most recent South Park episode dropped.
Oh yes. I didn't actually end up
And,
watching the whole episode, but
one of our favorite people to know about,
yes.
or should know more about, is Peter Thiel. I'll be honest, don't know a whole lot. I do know that Peter Thiel is a terrible person.
That's honestly all you probably need to know.
At least not someone I want in our country. And he was made fun of. He's the most recent victim of South Park's.
Yeah.
Wait, I can't hear you.
Oh. What?
Is that my fault?
That
It is my fault.
Nope. Yeah, that is your fault.
Why am I muted?
Oh, no.
Hello?
Hello?
I
Can you hear
muted
me?
you.
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah.
How did I do that?
Yeah, all
I
good.
don't know how I did that.
Hey,
Apologies,
I mean, it
apologies.
happens.
I was like, you've gone very quiet. I thought you'd be giggling. Maybe you were. Yes, don't know much about Peter Thiel, but I do know he's a terrible human. But he was a recent victim of South Park, South Park's most recent episode. And I'll play you... I play you the full thing? Yeah, I think I will. So the clip that they put up was called 6-7. And if you don't know the 6... Whoa.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of that.
I know the 6-7.
If you don't have any alphas in your life, you probably are not aware of the 6-7 meme that's going around. My husband is a teacher, and he is he's a math teacher, so he fucking
Oh, no.
arcing over this thing.
Oh,
As you can imagine,
rough.
probably multiple times during a lesson, he has to deal with this shit. So I'll play you the first wee bit to give context to the 6-7 meme. But there's a fantastic video that I have to find it again. It's basically like I think it's called Scroll Nation. I don't know. They explained the full lore of 6-7, which basically it came from a song. The song was then used in TikToks, and then it was used during sports edits, and then someone who was big in the basketball scene kind of it became like his thing, and then he did a thing, and then there was a kid who like built on that thing, and then it just became a thing that kids do. It doesn't mean anything. It's just you hear 6-7 and you fucking go 6-7.
Yeah.
It's fucking dumb. But anyways, the South Park episode's great because they kind of introduce it to the school, and then it leads into a school assembly, which is quite funny. So South Park, please don't demonetize us. We're good people, and we appreciate this. It's for the good of the people.
I'm a guest. So fucking fake.
That's pretty much what's happening in schools at the moment. I don't know the context. I haven't seen the full episode. I've just seen the one clip. Magenta, I don't know if you've been keeping up with the whole season. But I did want to play this because it talks... Peter Thiel's in it. It's probably someone we should know about. And hopefully Magenta can fill in the gaps a little bit for us. But I'll just play this because it's just fucking funny. Because why not? Why not?
Hell yeah.
Before we jump into this, though, there is a little bit more context. So throughout the whole season, I'm pretty sure we've had Trump in bed with Satan, and they've kind of like got a relationship going, and they're going through the motions of being in a marriage. And there's a theme going through where it's basically saying that Donald Trump has a tiny dick.
Yeah.
Which basically,
Small pee-pee.
Small pee-pee. From the very beginning, we had that weird AI thing, and it's kind of the running joke. And I think earlier in the episode, JD Vance comes into the bedroom where Donald Trump is maybe trying to schmooze the devil and Satan.
Yes.
And I think he has his dick exposed. I don't know.
Nice.
But this gives a little bit more context to what Peter Thiel, the animated South Park version of Peter Thiel, has to say in this wee bit. And I will have to stop it at a certain point because there's explicit material that I can't show on screen.
Tiny
Just
little
gonna pull that off.
pinhole.
I'll play the rest of the audio, but I won't put this on screen just so we don't get in trouble.
Haunts me.
So they've done a really good job of bringing that into the episode. And
Oh God,
yeah, it's so well done. It's so well done. So just some fun stuff. Just some fun stuff. They're really pushing they're pushing for, it's so current, I think is the thing. It's just so crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
They do a
they're
really good job of turning
definitely-
these around very quickly.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that's like what I'm most impressed about is just the fact that like they're able to turn these things around with such quick ease, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Can you enlighten the
yes.
people about Peter Thiel for us?
I mean, to be fair, a lot of our
I do.
people. To be fair, I actually don't know as much about Peter Thiel in detail. More kind of just where he relatively sits in terms of, Atlas Network bullshittery. Basically, sits pretty high the fuck up as you would expect. I think I saw some comments. Oh yes, so he's a South African Nazi. There we go. I did see some fun facts about him in the chat. He's not sure if he wants humanity to survive, so there's that.
Yes.
Queenstown fixed Thiel stopped his resort plan a couple of years ago. So
That's
yeah,
good.
I believe he's probably a golden visa holder.
I think so.
Yeah. There's a lot of, he's involved with so many different things. Actually, that just reminded me. I don't know if you've seen this recent video from, I don't know what the podcast is, but it was our favorite Brennan Lee Mulligan. And I was just like, Brennan Lee Mulligan is talking about Atlas Network stuff. This is awesome. Crossover event. So I don't think it's very long.
He's been crossing over with like everything recently. He's been doing so many podcasts, and it's just like Brennan Lee Mulligan talking about this. I'm like, yes, of course. Brennan Lee Mulligan talking about this. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm. And I mean,
I love how he just weaves like politics into everything.
Honestly, that is exactly it. Like, that's why that one quote, and we all know which quote I'm talking about, lives rent free in my fucking head, and it's just so good. And yeah, this was this. I don't know. I feel really seen whenever I see Brendan kind of doing the conspiracy ramble shit, and it's nice. Let's make sure I haven't got this muted though, because nice and loud, good.
When people aren't listening to a podcast, they're generating an identity around themselves as consumers by saying, it's not that I'm listening to Beck and Kyle, right. I'm a Beck and Kyle listener. And that's why I've given them my social security number, my home address, and a tracking data that you guys can sell to Palantir. And that way...
Palantir? What's Palantir?
Palantir is a company that is...
Phil Plantier.
That was,
I don't think it's that one.
Palantir is a Peter Thiel funded sort of like data and surveillance company that is working with the U.S. government as a surveillance force, right? Named after the evil crystal balls from Lord of the Rings.
Holy crap. Does anybody know about this stuff?
Now, a lot of people...
Yes, we do.
Does anybody know about this stuff? It's like, yeah, mate. And I mean, that's why I was just like, oh, hearing him, because that was the other part. It's Palantir, and he's involved in so many different fucking things. His fingers are in many pies. Oh, he isn't a golden visa holder. He's a citizen.
Yeah, which is even worse.
Yeah. And
so I do know a little bit about the Palantir, like very minimal, but yes. So Palantir is
Thiel.
It's Thiel's baby, basically. A lot of things are his baby. He's made a fuck ton of money, and his fingerprints are all over the AI industry.
Oh, absolutely.
But his main thing that he's probably known for at the moment is Palantir. And Palantir, as Brennan just said, is an AI software of sorts that's able to scrape through all of the government's data and create profiles or find specific people, basically, by matching up all of those data points. And as Brennan just said, kind of Big Brother surveillance bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
Fueled by AI, which is notoriously known for being very biased and not exactly non-white friendly.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
don't really know if I want that coming through a citizen base or database. And the reason why we should be talking about it is this is a person, as someone's just pointed out, he is a citizen, supposedly, of New Zealand. So, and this government has quite often talked about the future of AI and its role in government, in education, in transport, and all of these different things, and getting systems to talk to each other and data and stuff. So if I hear Palantir, or it's got its fingertips anywhere near our government, I am going to panic because I don't want that shit, and I don't want his shit anywhere near my personal data. So there you go.
Absolutely. And I mean,
Keep an eye on it.
yeah, just another one to add into the box of Atlas shells living in this fucking country.
Yeah. That's all.
Do we
That's
want
all
some
from that.
memes?
We do want some memes.
I feel like actually I'm going to
And
show you
then-
guys a video meme first.
Oh, video meme.
Yeah. It's hilarious.
Video
But
meme.
Continue with what you were saying.
I was just going to say, Raijin says, you hear about the guy who was born here but maybe be deported? That stuff reported on yesterday? Yes, I did see that. How the fuck does Peter Thiel get a citizen but not, to be a citizen but not him? Yeah, money.
Yeah.
Fuck ton of money.
I mean-
connections, money.
Yeah. Also, like,
white
oh, there
probably
was
is part
one
of it.
story. One story I realized BHN hasn't covered. There's also the story about Keisha Castle Hughes and her baby not
Oh,
being
yeah.
like. So yeah, I don't know if anyone knew, but if you move overseas and have your kid overseas, they aren't a New Zealand citizen, and they probably can't become one easily. You might have to bring your baby over as a tourist, because that's what
I
Keisha had to
thought-
do.
I thought, is the baby daddy not a Kiwi?
No, I don't believe so. She's been living over, I believe, in the States for a while, because she's been in a lot of stuff at the moment. So she's been working overseas. And yeah, she's been currently in a bit of a fight with the government because, yeah. Like I thought that it was like I think what was the example, like Ireland and somewhere else, you know, where basically whakapapa means that you, which the thing is, like, and it doesn't just affect, you know, like whakapapa connections. This could be any New Zealander. Like if you move away and, you know, like it's terrifying. I didn't know that was a thing. Like, I mean, if I was a parent, that would fucking terrify me.
No, you say 2006-ish. That does kind of spark a memory of sorts when that changed, and there was a big uproar about it because you had Kiwis who were having kids overseas and had to try and get their kids naturalized.
Yeah,
Which
and
is crazy.
It's
Because it used to be a natural born. I can't remember what they called it, like natural born citizenship or something like that, like inherited citizenship. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's yeah, no. And Keisha is obviously a citizen here, but yeah, there's a lot of issues with fucking all of that stuff. But we'll go into our little this one's kind of, I guess, actually relevant when we've just been talking about more, I guess. These adjacent things. This is just a funny little video that came up along my timeline.
No, he's fake. No. Andy, what's wrong?
Because Donald Trump a real person.
Yes, Donald Trump is a real person.
I feel you, buddy.
Yeah. Bro just couldn't believe it. He's like, no, say it ain't so. Just, I'm not gonna lie. The cry gets me. We've also got, because I'm just wanting to close this tab, I saw the craziest thing on Reddit, and I just needed everybody to see it. So, cost of living, it gets pretty hard. So a friend
I've
just
seen
moved
these types of things before. They're crazy.
I've never seen this in my life, and I'm
It's disgusting.
terrified. Like,
It's disgusting.
also the comments are, as you can imagine, pretty good. Like, hate when I have to get out of the shower to take a shit. Like, I just, and then there's people being like, where do you put the TP roll holder? And then there was a comment about a full body bidet, which I found extremely hilarious. But yeah, those are just the two dumb ones, and then I'll show you real memes. Yes. Basically, the same old story, just hoarding more. If it's necessary to distort history and make it look as if great men did everything, that's part of how you teach people they can't do anything. They're helpless. They just have to wait for some great man to come along and do it for them. Which, we just got to get in there and do the thing. What's the difference between the Democrats and a pizza guy? What? The pizza guy actually delivers. Sick burn. Oh yeah, I didn't know this. A woman, I knew about the capitalism part, but a woman created Monopoly to protest capitalism in 1903. Charles Darrow later copied her game, sold it to Parker Brothers, and became a millionaire. The company paid the original inventor just $500 to erase her from history. Yeah, and also the irony of Monopoly creating this huge monopoly of games. Like, think about how many iterations of Monopoly there are. Just crazy. Please check your Halloween candy. I just found Epstein files inside of the Twix. Fucking crunchy meme. Birmingham, Alabama area activist just put up a Trump Epstein billboard on a busy highway. And I love the style. What's the big secret, fellas? They're doing it again because you didn't guillotine them last time. I mean, same picture. Oh yeah, this isn't a meme. This is just from the National's fucking Facebook page. Just saying, inflation is under control and now Kiwis are saving more money on their mortgages. And as you can see, most of it's the ha-ha reacts because what the hell, man. And then obviously we had some frog memes. Many a frog meme. And I love all of them. Oh yeah. We'll leave it on this one. Wants to be seen as equal to men. Refuses to commit 80% of all violent crimes. See, if you really want equality. Just saying.
While you were running through those memes, I was trying to find something else that I wanted to put on the screen. I can't find it. But while we're still somewhat on the topic, so the Keisha Castle Hughes situation, this is why. So the law says that New Zealand citizens by descent cannot pass citizenship to their children. And there is no legal provision for citizenship by whakapapa. Bryce Ruddock has taken the case to tribunal, so I think he's the grandfather, to argue that it breaches the Treaty of Waitangi and such provisions should be made. So Keisha Castle Hughes was born in Australia to a Maori mother and an Australian father. She came to New Zealand at the age of 4, finding fame as the star of The Whale Rider. So if she was born here, then I believe it would have been able to be passed down. But just because she's a descendant of a citizen, because she was born overseas, she doesn't have the same citizenship rights. And the reason that it's kind of become the reason that it blew up is because it's around the case of whakapapa, which is kind of a niche argument of sorts, which I don't think I've ever seen that before as a reason. Not saying as an argument, as in like I've never seen that.
The conversation hasn't.
I've never seen that conversation come up before, but that is a
absolutely.
very good conversation to be having about whakapapa, I guess. So yeah.
Sorry, I was just confused. I was just reading Wurzels.
I just saw it as well. We are.
I
Dot was
I
here.
can see. Yeah. I see. And Dot's there. Yeah, Dot's
see
there.
Dot.
We're here.
Dot,
Maybe
Dot,
you
our
might have to
favourite,
refresh if you're on Facebook, Wurzel.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right. What do we have next? Do we have anything next?
That's it.
Oh,
That's all.
Okay,
You
then we
went
just got
through.
random
You
shit
went
that
through
I
the
can chuck
stuff.
in. All right. Cool.
Yeah, go on.
This is time for me to show you guys random shit. Which one's this one? Okay, since we just talked about Brendan Lee Mulligan, how about we look at a fun one from him? Because obviously there's events over in Australia, so I'm currently getting a lot of Brendan Lee Mulligan content, which is great. I love it. I'm always down for it. Where the hell did I put it? There we go. Too many tabs. There we go. So, yeah, here we go.
I hope at least they didn't ask you to do a shoey. What is a shoey? Have you not heard of a shoey?
Heard of a shoey.
Okay, this is the moment I tell Brendan Lee Mulligan what a shoey is. They start yelling
Jesus.
shoey at you, you've got to get ready to drink a drink out of your shoe. You're going to pour a drink into your shoe and then you're going to scull it.
They're gonna pour. Now, is there a cup in my shoe, or
No,
this is the raw?
It's the raw shoe.
We are gonna buy new shoes
Yes.
after this.
Fresh shoes.
Fresh shoes. That's it. Is it sad that rather than going to no, I immediately went to here's how we game shoes?
How do you...
I just so Brennan of him. Just so
Yeah.
fucking Brennan of him. Which one? Actually, there is one. Where do I leave it? I will get this quick article for us to have a tiny look at, and actually more just kind of a recommendation to go and read, because I don't even know if I'd want to read all of this on tonight, but for those of you who don't know, Caitlin Johnston's done a really good article about how Israel tortured and sexually humiliated Greta Thunberg. Yeah. So I know she didn't want things to be about her, and I don't think it necessarily makes it about her, but I think it's definitely good to keep in mind that this is just probably a minute amount of what they would have been doing to people in Palestine. So these are the kind of people that our country, our Prime Minister says that we have friends on the side of somehow. So I'll post the link to this. Otherwise, you can just Google Caitlin Johnson and I'm sure you'll be able to find it. But we should just look at some of the last memes, I guess, since we didn't get through all of them. Take that one off. And chuck these back on, eh? How'd you get radicalized? I couldn't afford rental healthcare. I can't jack off to video games anymore. Because, so woke. Those women with fine hairs on their faces. Ugh. Regulating AI hastens the Antichrist, is Planteer's Peter Thiel. As we were just looking at. I mean, this one's pretty funny. And then we've got some, oh my god, the horse and sparrow thing, honestly. That was such a good one. I definitely think we need to start using this one next year. I think this is a good way to paint it. Got all the Chris's. So many Chris's. Too many Chris's. Not enough Chloe's. This one's my son Bob Jr. got a wrestling outfit dedicated to Charlie Kirk, putting liberals in headlocks and making them cry. Wearing a skimpy skin-tight leotard with another man's face on it is kind of gay, not gonna lie, and I 100% agree. Yes, we're getting the real reason for neckbeards is to cover the nussy, as we've learned this week. The nussy, you didn't see the nussy? The necklace? Pat was yeah. Dad and Uncle, the Pat and Chewie, they were talking about the Nikusi. That's something that we have to go and clip the shit out of, to be honest. It's great.
Okay.
Ray
Sure,
Chung
we can make that
complains.
a weekend
Yes.
task.
Ray Chung complains of toxic campaign. Who turned it toxic? Eh? Who turned it toxic, Ray? This one, kind of disturbing. I didn't know how to feel about the Nikki on the ball. Yeah, it's an image.
People are creative, man.
Obviously, after we watched Juice Media's awesome video, we got some edits, which I thought were great.
Thank you.
Just a reminder, just a regular reminder. Someone's gone and put bishops in the definition of damp, which feels kind of like such a sick burn. And obviously, if you were there, you know that one of the shows was brought to you by the letter S and the word sorry. More sorry. Nala, it's the good night as the good night Nala, which I thought is very adorable. I posted that one on Blue Sky because it's too cute. Oh yeah, I think was it Cyber Goblin or James? No, I think it might be James. Yeah, I saw this one and I'm just like, that got me. It just got me. Gave me a good giggle.
That's pretty good.
And then our bonus memes. She ghosted you, but she goblin me. I just thought that was fun.
Oh, fuck me, that's
right? Good. So good. And also, I feel this because I'm in love with this TV show. I'm really good at reading social cues about 14 hours after they were given when I'm trying to sleep.
It hurts.
Also, if you haven't seen The Good Place, fucking watch it. Honestly, it's so good. Just, hey, want to hang out? Hang out, not hag. No, let's hag out. Putting curses. Witches putting curses. Oh, yeah. Kiwi Burb found these places that are in Sweden. We've got Bro. And we've got Chur. And I just thought that was just something fun from the Discord. Foreigners saying Americans don't use the metric system. Me with a 9mm and 5 grams in my pocket, which I had not thought about, to be honest.
Neither had I. Interesting.
Yeah, they really like to use a bit of both, don't they? Oh yes, and this is our pet. So we got Marvin, pictures of Marvin, just looking like a cute little sleepy. I believe Marvin's allergic to chicken. Yeah, ginger cats are so dumb, but in like the best way. Like, they're so cute.
They're the best.
Right? And I don't think I had anything else. Let me have a look.
Sure.
Only one little happy video, but we can leave that one.
Sweet.
But yes, kitty cat.
Kitty cat.
I should have made that my fucking profile picture. Picture of cat.
There is one last little thing that I wanted to put on your radar, seeing as we've got we're already over time, it's fine. But we're under time based on our regular goodbye.
Yeah, you just reminded me I have another tab open for us to look at, so
No, I'll be quick. This came across my Blue Sky feed. Someone shared it by the newsroom. I will repost. Actually, I'm going to post the link in the... let's go that. I'll post the link in the chat because I could not actually search and find this. But I had to find the link that someone posted. So Newsroom Local Elections Survey 2025. They did this fantastic little interactive survey of sorts.
Yo.
And this is really interesting because it doesn't just break down who was elected. So this is the breakdown of gender on each of these things across the country. But you can say just general elected office. You can group it by which council. So, for example, Christchurch City, and then you can kind of see the breakdown there for who's been elected. You can compare based on their views. I don't know how they quite got this, but compared gender to, for example, views on wastewater spending. And you can do it by that, which is quite interesting. You can do it by library spending, which I think was quite interesting.
Okay.
And then you can maybe group it by gender instead, so it's a little bit easier. By elected office, there's the sort of thing that you want to probably play around with and then find
absolutely.
Find the sort of stats that you would like to know more about. But fantastic little interactive thing they did. I don't know why it wasn't pushed more. I just saw it pop up on my feed by someone. Thank you. But yeah, have a play with it. I put the link in the chat. But if you want to know, it's called Newsroom Local Elections Survey 2025. You Google that, you should come up hopefully. But go have a play around, see what you can find out about the people that have been elected. I did a few earlier, and it was very clear that a lot of males were voted into Parliament. Into local governments. So
fucking Ray Chung got in by 45 votes. Yeah, 45 votes. I'm so mad.
Yeah, but I also am not surprised
really
that female and other gender representation in local politics is quite low after we've seen this sort of female politicians and candidates went through.
Oh, absolutely.
And continue to go through, which is pretty sad.
I'm just glad that they even included another category. Fuck. Colour me impressed.
It's
real low.
Unfortunately tiny, but
right.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I mean, bar's low. It's just nice to be included.
For sure.
But I just had two little things I realized were on my screen. So I'm gonna. This one is just a teaser because I'm working on something. I've been working on something, and it might have to do with this image. I might be doing something for our
old
birthday.
School.
Yeah.
Old school Rangers.
Right? That's just something that might be a nod to what I'm gonna do for our anniversary, which is coming up next month. Yeah. We're gonna be one whole year of bright hairy news. And also this is just random millennial news that I saw right before the show started.
That's what I think it is.
Neopets and Habbo Hotel are doing a collab.
I saw that as a tiny ass thumbnail in StreamYard, and I knew exactly what was coming. That is hilarious.
Yeah,
not the Habbo, but I knew it was Neopets. That's cool.
Yeah, I know, right? I was just what a random thing to be existing, but you know what? I think with how bad the world is right now, I could do with some fucking Neopets. I want some of that omelette.
I'm here for it. Bring back those Flash games. They were the best.
Yes. You can still get some of them. You can still go to Newgrounds, and there are places that have archived. Oh yeah, I realised we've got a single chat sitting here from Kai Matata for $2. It's admirable. The man has soul. Also, I love this from Gary. Always wear an inflatable Kia costume if you want to vandalize a cop car and get away with it. That's thinking with your bloody noggin there, Gary.
Genius.
Also, shout out to Tam. Also, I could have given the finger to you guys tonight, but I didn't. I just ate some pizza when I was muted. It's as far as I went because I hadn't had any food before the show. And also, let's not go back to Ghost Chips and Neck Minute. Let's not. We had our own cringe. We don't need to bring it back. Oh, that was an accident.
I mean... No, I can't remember what the melody was.
Peter Thiel sucks. Yep. I mean, also, we do share a lot about Atlas and the New Zealand Initiative. We do have a whole big deep dive on the channel There's more content, but we should probably start reminding people again. Maybe we'll have to do an updated Atlas Network video. We'll get Rogers, if you're listening, you got work to do, hun. My work wife can do it.
It was the one of the Nobel Prize winners. There's multiple, right?
Yes, fucking.
It's connected to.
Yep, Atlas Network.
To Atlas, so.
Atlas literally posted a picture of her being like, "We're so proud of our girl," and I'm just like, "Oh no, thank you to KiwiBird for pointing that out to me."
Not even hiding it anymore. Not even hiding it anymore.
They've got their fucking fingers in everything. But I see Rogers is listening. Thank you. We'll have to work on that. If not, we'll make some side videos as well. For those who don't know, me and Detective Rogers do Aotearoa tonight, since I pretty much never mention it. So if you want to see extra content on that kind of stuff, we do it over there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Check it out.
Look at us coming in 5 minutes early.
Yay!
We never do that.
Well, that's everything from us. Thanks for putting up with a interesting show. We like a little bit of fun stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we had a little tech fun. Everyone got an ASMR magenta half hour.
Solo hosting. It was great. Yeah, flying solo. It's always been fun. We had good viewership tonight. We were over 300 for most of the night, so thank you.
I see we have a lot of people on Twitter watching. Like, shout out to Twitter. Yeah, no, but over half of it's Twitter. So I didn't know Twitter liked. Yeah, I mean,
it's nice. I think it's me. I think I just need to put my face on more often. That's what it is.
The Twitter sphere must like us now.
Yeah, maybe. Either which way, thanks for watching. I think next week will just be your regular. And then the week after that is Halloween. And I'm hoping we can maybe do some fun Halloween stuff. Maybe bring on a guest. It'd be quite fun. Yeah. We should do something a little crazy, a little spooky.
A little spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a bloody plan what I'm going to do for that. Jeez.
Oh, well, I've got my costume ready.
Oh, that's not fair.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you'll have to tell me what your costume is off air so that we can coordinate stuff. Or you can give me an idea of what to do.
True. We'll talk. We'll discuss.
Yes, there's off air chat.
All right. Play out the credits. Play out the credits.
Settle a debate, whether it be thoughtful or funny, even if we're all creatures of hate. It's a fine line that we're walking together. For better, push aside the temptation to berate. Let's take a note of the corners we stand in. As many points as the hairs on my chinny chin chin. When the news that we're watching is hairy, knowing all the things that we need to be wary of. Like the rich have the hand out for rewards, while the many have to work at what they can't afford. And the rest of us ain't paying attention, or maybe have questions we're too worried to mention. Other media is still dwelling on trivial facts, vetting peas from the rice and the mice from the rats, and picking and choosing a warpath to run, and linking ourselves with the hill to die on. It's gotta come down to a welcoming vibe, with an A and a sub and a higher in mind. All heavily, either this way or that, and will be analyzed by butchery and pat. With the evil in the world trying to mess with your head, and you're sitting on the couch, you're thinking chivalry's dead. Each night, 2 nights, they're gonna sing you to bed. It's Big Hairy News.
Thanks everyone for watching this episode of Bright Hairy News. Hopefully you'll see you next week at 9 p.m. or you can see the boys at 9 p.m. on Monday. Magenta, anything to say before we go?
Well, yeah, you can see me and Rogers before the boys at 6:45 because we're starting 15 minutes early. Yeah, come hang out with us.
Sounds good. Look forward to it. And have a wonderful weekend, everyone. And look after yourselves. Go touch some grass and be merry.
After school, whānau. Ka kouts.
Bye.